okay, they're probably not actually in trouble. I lied for views, but there are actually people canceling pre-orders over this. As I'm sure you all heard, there's a new James Bond game coming out, and there hasn't been a James Bond game since 2012, which was 007 Legends. So this is exciting, and it looks like a mix between Uncharted and Hitman, and I'll let you know if it's good in 20 minutes when I actually get to play it. Now, the reason people are canceling pre-orders is because it seems to have gone woke. I know, the killer for all big companies. You go woke, you go broke.
Now, it is worth mentioning that over on PC, some people are canceling their pre-orders because of Denuvo, which is an anti-piracy software, but the trade-off is it makes the game run like shit. But I don't really want to talk about that. I want to stick to the narrative reasons.
But I actually do understand it. Now, look, if you're going to go woke on something, and when I say go woke, I use that very loosely. Like, if you're gonna put a gay or a trans character in something and it even loosely fits the plot, I'm okay with it. Like, in Squid Games, they had a transgender character, but it did move the plot along because nobody wanted to be with her until they found out that, wait, no, this person was actually special forces. She's a badass. Leaving her off of the team and discriminating against her wasn't a good idea, and she ended up being a real badass in the show. So I am fine with that, but there are some people who are not. There are some people who are like real sticklers about it, which I think is like really stupid. Go touch grass, go outside, go to the pool. It's a beautiful day out. But when you start fucking with the source material, I understand having a big problem. Like with Snow White, they completely changed the story. A lot of people didn't like that, and that's why it bombed so bad. Now, of course, it was review bombed by people who are part of that go woke, go broke crowd, but a lot of Snow White purists didn't like that. So now you have James Bond, who in a PC gamer, I know PC gamer fucking sucks, but this should be legitimate. 007's first like James Bond won't be a sexist, misogynist dinosaur. Now, you could probably sit there and think, okay, like, I don't see a problem with that. And I also had the exact same thought process until I started looking into it a bit more. I am not a James Bond purist. I'm very whatever about the character. I think the character's cool. But I also understand how a lot of Bond purists would not be cool with this at all. Imagine if DC came out and said, well, actually, these Marvel movies like Spider-Man and Iron Man, where they're like cracking jokes, it's actually a lot better for younger audience. So now, in this next Batman movie, he's gonna be a lot more lighthearted. What the fuck? What are you doing? I mean, the literal author who came up with James Bond said part of his character is being a misogynist. Ian Fleming, the creator, believed that being perfect was not what makes a hero because no person is perfect, but being a hero is someone who, despite their imperfections and shortcomings, strives to be better and selflessly fights for what is right. I didn't intend for Bond to be likable. He's a blunt instrument in the hands of the government. He's got vices and few perceivable virtues. So you might sit there and be like, well, okay, but every character needs to modern up a little bit. And I completely agree with you there. But what James Bond fans have dealt with for the last almost decade, ever since they finished the Daniel Craig Bond movies, was dealing with the bullshit that Amazon put in there, like, oh, James Bond actually might be a black trans disabled woman. What do you think about that? Now, theoretically, if they wanted to make a black trans disabled 007, that's fine because 007 is just an agent number. So I mean, I still feel like you would piss people off, but sure. But you cannot make a woman James Bond. Part of James Bond's character is being able to, no matter what country he's in, sleep with the most beautiful woman in that country. A good-looking woman who is able to sleep with the best-looking man in every country is called a woman. It's not spectacular. So especially dealing with what Bond fans have been dealing with like that, I totally understand why somebody would freak out and say, fuck this, especially if you're a true Bond purist. Now, like I said, for me, I really hate to tell you this, I don't give a shit. I think the game is gonna be awesome. I'm not too into the character, and if he's like some woke lunatic, it doesn't really affect me one way or another because I'm still gonna be able to choke somebody out and drive a car through a bunch of explosions and hop up on a plane, so that's neither here nor there. But like I said, I do understand why more Bond purists would be like, I'm not going to give my money to this because I need them to understand that this is not what you do with the character. We need you to understand so that when the movies come out or you cast the next 007, you don't fuck up a great franchise that is very near and dear to my heart. And unfortunately, I know it's just like people on Twitter, but that might be one of the better ways to go about it. Now, yes, of course you could bitch on Twitter, but if you actually hit a company where it hurts, which is its finances, that sends a very loud message. But with that being said, I'm ready to play James Bond. I'll eventually come back and do a review on it. Have a great day, guys.